more than the average teenager or kid. That's fucked up.
Yes.
So the fact that I have this voice that speaks to millions of people because we do songs and we dance, I'm gonna make sure to transfer that energy and do my work here.
And what's the mental health care treatment or resources like?
IHS? Ooh, it's bad. You know, I have a friend here, Sarah Eaglehart, who's an amazing asset to my team. She's part of an amazing group of people, Natives in Philanthropy. Sarah, are you here? Is Sarah in the house?
Yep.
Sarah Eaglehart. She's an amazing advocate, inspirational leader. And she's kind of like been my mentor about how I can position and how I can use the voice to be of service, different events. I actually went to Capitol Hill to speak to Indian Affairs, and right now, you know, the administration is so fucked up that I couldn't even get a word. They told me that, oh, you know, you're dealing with a bottom of the totem pole situation. And it was very disrespectful, and I felt like, man, I'm here trying to be of service, and they just kind of like, yeah at me. So I said, okay, let me find another route. So I was fortunate enough to get with the Biden Cancer Initiative, and they listened to me. When I say I want to be my main focus is Indian country and the underserved communities. That's my main focus. Give me that lane. So Joe Biden and Dr. Joe Biden, they gave me that lane, right? So now we're doing work so that 2019 comes around, we actually start seeing action. Take problems and have solutions. Make sure that you actually fulfill those issues and follow through, and not just talk, not just build awareness, but actually follow through with it.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You know, my advocacy work is where I learned about the reservations and the condition, the mental health, just being able to be as much supportive as possible. And it broke my heart. This support is needed, you guys. It is really needed. We need as much of you to get involved. And it just brought a lot to light, and it educated me on what can we do to be more of a support. Yeah.
I want to also talk about the entertainment industry. Obviously, you are a very successful musician, and you come from a family with talented musicians, some of the most talented ones we've ever seen. We see a lot of musicians in their lyrics talk about self-medicating and recreational drug use and using those drugs as coping mechanisms. Can you talk about how that can hurt or harm you? You really do need some medication that can help you, you know, with your disorders. But then when you couple that with some of the recreational drugs, I've seen it have adverse effects on a lot of our young folks.
I think this is a really big challenge, specifically, especially with bipolar disorder and depression. A lot of your self-medicating, again, because of maybe giving medication treatment a chance, but not being put on the right one, or not being able to find that right combination, and so you add in your own way of being able to deal with. And then there's also just a lot of individuals that, that are in the arts or that are have these challenges that also have addictive personalities or have addiction as part of another type of the illness that they're challenged with. So they're fighting two beasts. You know, that's two things, what they call dual diagnosis. And this is an area that I completely understand. I completely get it, how someone can resort to alcohol as well as trying to take their medications, but really alcohol or some of these party drugs or whatever to be able to manage these symptoms. And all I can say is that it's gonna catch up with you. Yeah. It is gonna catch up with you. We gotta figure out a way to treat the addiction as well as treating the health challenge that is kind of like the catalyst to the addiction as well. And like I said, a lot of my treatment, although addiction wasn't necessarily part of my journey, still, my being able to get help was my accepting the fact that I gotta do this some kind of a way. and then just more people being able to talk about recovery is real, but it's not that just recovery is real. Recovery is real, it should be the expectation, you guys. It's not the expectation when it comes to mental health. That's where we gotta get to. The fact that we know it's possible. And so with that type of affirmative, that kind of attitude, that kind of awareness is going to change mentally the individual that's going through the mental health challenge. They'll be able to say, this doctor, I don't know if they got it right, because I know that this is happening over here. Let me just try to find the right one. They'll be a little bit more self-empowered. They'll have a little bit more confidence in the system and knowing all I gotta do is make some decisions, or this doesn't seem right over here. But right now, there isn't enough awareness, and then there isn't enough confidence in the patient, and the family members don't know what to do, that a lot is being left up and not realizing, hey, I got a choice in this matter. Yeah, you know.
And for me, I found that I was drinking when I was depressed. You know, sometimes I would have one drink at home after a long day, but one drink would turn into 3 drinks, 3 drinks would turn into 4 drinks, and then I was also starting to eat a lot more out of depression, and I just thought, I don't need, you know, my ego got involved. I didn't think I needed therapy or to see a doctor, and it just kind of continued into a downward spiral. And so now I try to only limit, you know, my cocktails to when I'm out socially with other people, because I don't want to find myself going back into that cycle, which can really be tough. But we see a lot of artists now, you know, that are talking about, like J. Cole mentioned, you know, meditate, you know, not medicate. But I'm glad to see that a lot of artists are understanding the importance of self-care and awareness, because fortunately or unfortunately, we know that a lot of our young kids listen to musicians, and they sometimes take their word as gospel. And so I'm just glad that that narrative is starting to shift with some of the lyrics and some of the things that we're starting to talk about in entertainment.
What's interesting is, I know with my family, it was so kind of beat, I don't want to say beat, but it was so drilled into them about not getting involved in drugs from a very young age, and it was just so inculcated into them by my grandfather. You know, them all being into the arts, that is something I think that just carried through. So, unfortunately, what I've noticed in the music industry, a lot of individuals don't have a lot of that parental guidance, that stronghold that the parent still has to be able to say, wait a minute, this association, or just be involved in their life a little bit more. And that's what it took, was my grandfather and my grandmother being able to, just to give you, my family is the Jackson family, so that you guys can understand what I'm talking about. So my aunts and uncles, they're all in music. And it's really interesting how amongst all of them, they really didn't succumb to a lot of those things, because my grandmother and my grandmother were really involved in that aspect of their career. But I see how that's not so much the case with a lot of artists. You know, there were issues in other areas, but when it came to addiction, they were very actively involved. So we need to see parents, because you have a lot of child stars, even in older, being involved and just being able to still be able to keep them on track and still, wait a minute, you're still a human being and you're still my kid.
I think that's something for everyday folks. You gotta be present in your
kids'
lives.
Absolutely.
Right?
So with music, you were talking about music, it definitely, that's the example. Mm-hmm. Parents, be involved. Know what's going on in your kid's life and what they're doing. Yeah. You know, allowing them to still have the freedom to say, are you making good decisions? But then actively being around and being able to make sure that you can guide that.
Absolutely. So we only have a few minutes left, and we're going to open up for Q&A, but I'd love for you guys to just give some final words on the work that you're doing, and where you see mental health, you know, in the next 5 to 10 years.
So, as I mentioned, you know, just doing my work in the cancer space, trying to be that person that educates and informs underserved communities about prevention and ways to seek help, whether it's mental, facilities to get guidance through the the process of chemotherapy, or if you're going through, natural healing, or whatever process you're going through, there's actually a 24-hour hotline that the American Cancer Society offers, which I didn't know about until I went and became part of that crew. Because it's a crew of people that actually care and want to do their part, right? And it's like, I'm not really about like affiliation. I don't really like to drop names, but when it comes to being of service, I love just being part of trying to do that.
Absolutely.
Because it's important to just use this time that I'm on this earth. There's a reason why the Creator gave me a second chance to live. There's a reason why I'm here. Other than just what I do in my career and my job, like my kids are my everything. I mean, my boys and my daughter not so much. Just kidding. She's my everything. She's my baby that was born after I beat cancer when the doctor said you can't have any more children.
Wow.
And she's my miracle baby, so that's why I always poke fun of it. But yeah, so just doing that in the cancer space and really going hard on trying to help Indian country, because we need it. We need hope. We need inspiration. There's diabetes. There's obesity. There's suicide. There's all these issues that we are dealing with on the res or the Indian reservations that no corporations or people in the outer really know about unless you've been there. And it's my job and my duty to do that, to be that person that brings light to that. And no matter whatever room I'm in, whether it's Joe Biden or We Rise LA, you best believe I'm representing Indian country to the fullest.
It's amazing. Yashi, parting words? And some of your priorities?
Just own your journey. Just wherever you are in your life, own it. Don't be afraid to not talk about it. Talk about it. Just don't be afraid. It's okay. Because what happens was when you start talking about and being honest about where you are, it opens the door for the next person to feel like they can be honest. And it is a chain reaction. And you will be surprised at how brave and how amazed and how inspired your peers, your loved ones, everybody's going to be when you just are okay with yourself, okay with opening up. And I always just like to say that, just own your journey, wherever you are in it. Just don't be afraid, don't be ashamed. Talk about shame. It's an illusion, okay? So when you start owning every part of yourself and being able to say, I am where I am, and it's okay. That's it. That's everything.
I agree. I think, owning my truth is probably the most important thing that I've ever done in my career, in my life. And I'm happy at the place and space that I'm in right now. The work that we're doing, I have an incredible team back in Atlanta, Georgia, who works with us with Silence to Shame, and we're going to continue doing panel discussions around the country, hopefully around the world. We passed out some literature. We actually have a partnership with the Crisis Text Line, so if you know anyone that's going through a crisis, it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week chat platform, and you can text the word silence to 741-741, and they can get access and they'll connect you with a licensed healthcare professional. We also have a podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud. Please listen to it. We interview a lot of licensed healthcare professionals as well as everyday folks and celebrities, and we're just excited about the work that's being done. And when I even heard about We Rise LA, I was like, this is fucking great. Excuse my language, but the fact that, it's a 10-day, festival, if you will, and art exhibition. You don't see this in a lot of other states, and I hope a lot of people take notice and that we can see this trend, extended around the country, if not the world. I think it's amazing that we're normalizing the conversation around mental health and wellness, and what people don't realize, sometimes they put mental health over there, like in a box, but guys, it's all brain health. Think about it. Your brain connects everything. Your physical and mental go hand in hand. You can't do one without the other. People think, oh, if I don't have a serious, mental health disorder like bipolar 1 disorder or schizophrenia or what have you, that, nothing can happen to me. Guess what? It could be the loss of a loved one. It could be, these children who sing these kids